Hello and welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. We're gonna be discussing lots of Arsenal stuff in this video, but we're gonna be discussing Edu, Gaspar, and the Kroenkes and their plan to revamp Arsenal and take us back where we want, and their ambition to spend big this summer, as confirmed by Edu Gaspar, the technical director at Arsenal, in an interview with ESPN Brazil. We will also talk about Mikel Arteta a little bit, but the biggest conversation is going to be around Edu Gaspar, Stan Kroenke, and the confirmation that Arsenal will spend big. But I think we will also talk about William Saliba at some point, because talks have started between him and his representatives with Olympique Marseille for him to stay in France. Now that is not a good story, but it's a good day. Like I said, it's a good week after beating Manchester United. It's always a good week. I don't want to spoil my week. Let's get the party started. Hello, everyone. Let me reset a little bit. Right. Hello, everyone. Right. So let's start off with that simple story around William Saliba just for a moment, and then we'll dive into Edu Gaspar, the summer big players coming in, confirmed by Edu Gaspar, and the Kroenkes, and also the fact that the Kroenkes will spend. Now, look, at this point in time, it is still too early to predict what's going to happen in the summer. But it is May, and we know that seasons are ending. It is, most leagues in most campaigns in around Europe. I think it's around 5 games, 6 games to the end of the season in most of the countries. So when you see these stories, when you see these, this much transfer talk, there is a basis. There is somewhere it is coming from. Now, GetFrenchNews.com have actually been quoting Marseille president, right, Longari, and this is what they've said. Marseille president Longari has been in discussions with William Saliba and his representatives about the possibility of a new loan from 2022 to 2023. Now, this is the story, lads. This is a story about William Saliba. We've done an extensive coverage about William Saliba in my first episode of Let's Talk. And then the next one will be dropping tomorrow. So, a couple of weeks ago, Marseille president, again, Longari, did come out and say that they would love as Olympique Marseille to sign William Saliba on a permanent. He also said that the player is very much interested and he knows how much he is valued at Olympique Marseille. And he said Olympique Marseille as a club are very, very much ready to meet the demands of Arsenal Football Club. However, William Saliba, just before that, had come out and said he would love to come back at Arsenal and fight for his place. He would feel, he would want to come back and be incorporated in the squad. He would love to be part of Mikel Arteta's squad. However, a few weeks later, William Saliba, the same player, came out and said, at Arsenal, at Olympique Marseille, I'm happy and I would really love to stay, but then it depends on Arsenal. So, of course, we have, in the recent weeks, we've had interest from Real Madrid, who I think will not be interested in him anymore, given the fact that Rudiger is very, very close to signing him. We have also had interest from, Atletico Madrid and a couple of other big clubs around Europe, including Barcelona and the others. But, and I'm not going to really speak much about Saliba in terms of leaving Arsenal, but I think Olympique Marseille, what they're trying to do here, because according to the president, they have held talks and discussions with the representatives of the player and the player himself. They would love to keep him for another loan season. Now, this is where I don't get it. This is where I don't understand. I don't know what Olympique Marseille are really driving at. Are they trying to say that we signed one of the best talents in the world, one of the best central defenders in the world, just to let him on loan, just to loan him out like that. I know it has been our bad, it's been our problem. This is now the second consecutive year. Actually, is it second or third consecutive year that Arsenal just keep on, loaning out William Saliba? And it looks like a joke. We've made him look like a joke. And I know at some point in time, he's going to be frustrated. And it's going to take Arsenal some time. It will take us some great convincing for him to stay. But I don't want to see Arsenal, and I'm going to say this is my opinion. I hope you have yours as well. I don't want to see Arsenal thinking about William Saliba on another loan deal. Look, just watched Goal.com. They've already confirmed that Arsenal want to incorporate the player and they want to give him a new contract. We have initiated the initial. We stopped at initiating the initial process. That is where we stopped. I've never had anything like Arsenal and now in advanced talks with William Saliba and all that. I've never had that. So we started talks, we initiated talks, and we ended at that. Yet Olympique Marseille have been in active talks. Can you believe that? Olympique Marseille are in active talks with the player to make sure that he stays there for another long-term season. And this is very, very clever from Olympique Marseille. And I think it would be very, very stupid from Arsenal if we fell for it. Very, very stupid. Because you know what they've done? They've gone Saliba, if he stays there for another year, another loan deal, and he doesn't sign a new contract, because he can't sign a new contract unless Arsenal are going to meet his demands, which is game time. Right, with Gabriel and Ben White at the moment, it's gonna be very hard for him to break into the side. So, and I'm not really saying all of them are really better than him or anything, because he's not been tested at Arsenal. Where he's been is on different loan spells ever since signing for Arsenal from Saint Etienne. He's had a very, very good season. He's had very, very good seasons. So, Marseille are clever. I think this is very clever business for them. They want the player on another loan deal. And that means by the end of that loan deal, by the end of 2022-2023 campaign, he will be left with 1 year on his contract. No one gives you 50 million in a player who's left with 1 year. No one gives you 50 million unless you're signing, unless it's Messi on a free, right? Unless it's Messi or Mbappe or Haaland. But Saliba, no one is going to give you 50 million. No one is going to give you 40 million when you sign, when they sign. For another club with 1 year left of their contract, because it's either they sign for less profit or at a loss, or they work for free. And I think Arsenal don't want to be in that situation. That is a situation we don't want to find ourselves in, and I hope we don't find ourselves in that. So I mean, great trickery from Marseille. I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to show the player you've been at Marseille and you've had a very, very good campaign. You've played very well. Why don't you just stay with us? Why don't you just we're a big club in France and you know that. Why don't you just stay with us for the rest of your contract at Arsenal, and then we will be your step to Madrid or Barcelona. And I think it will come back to bite us. Some of these decisions that Arsenal have made are going to come back and they'll bite us in the back, really strongly. They'll come back to bite us in the back, especially William Saliba, because it's going to be very hard now for Arsenal to convince him that you have to sign for us you have to extend your deal and go back on loan, right? He's been on loan. He's proven on loan, and is now going to be asking for that game time. And I want to see what Arsenal do. I'm desperately waiting to see what Arsenal are going to do in that situation when we find ourselves in a predicament, right? When we find ourselves in a predicament with William Saliba, I'm desperate to see what we are going to do. Like I said, it's not the main topic of the video. The main topic of the video is Arsenal's spending budget that is expected to be big, huge players to come in, and we expect a big revamp, a big upgrade in terms of quality in the squad. That is what we're going to be speaking about. But I would love to get your thoughts and opinions on William Saliba. and I will take the first 10 comments on that. Let me know, what do you think about William Saliba? Do you think Arsenal are doing it right, or we are just jumbling around? Some have said Saliba should return to Arsenal. We need him now because we are short of backups in the defensive department. And Anu says we only have 3 centre backs. Alvarez says we need Saliba back. Anu says we need Saliba back because we are a bigger team. Because we need a bigger team for next season. Well done. Thanks everybody for joining in. And thanks everybody for giving me your comments there. So I'll leave that at that. But honestly, I think Arsenal really desperately need to think this wisely through. As we think, we not only need to think this through carefully, but also wisely, very, very wisely. So there is the story from Get French News. Marseille President Longari has been in discussions with William Saliba and his representatives about the possibility of a new loan deal for the 2022-2023 campaign. Your thoughts? Much needed in the comments, and of course I'll get back to you there. Now, the huge story today is Edu Gaspar. Edu Gaspar has taken another interview, and this time it was the first time it was Sky. It was with Sky. This time it has been with ESPN Brazil. So let's have a look. This is what he said. Edu Gaspar. He said maybe next season we can go for 1 or 2 big players. Our planning has already been done. It has already reached the owners. It is a matter of step by step how we will end the season and then put the plan into place that I'm very, very excited about. Right. So that is the story, and I'm gonna give you some time to read it for yourself so that you internalize it. That excerpt. Right, that excerpt is very, very similar to the one that I reported about in December, if you still remember. Shortly after the transfer window had closed and we had done all that business, all the business we had done, Edu Gaspar had an interview with Sky, if you still remember, and he was asked about why Arsenal didn't go for 1 or 2, 3 players, like 1 or 2, 3 big signings, but then we decided to go for very, very many players in the end. And then he was also asked about the future of the Arsenal process and project, and he said his response was, in this summer we had to do what was needed to be done. We had to we needed so many players in very many positions to form the structure. Of course, he also talked about the fact that Arsenal had lost many players that were part of the squad: Mesut Ozil, Socrates Papastopoulos, and a couple of others. You still remember the clear route that was well spearheaded by Arteta and Edu. Now, that excerpt that we've just looked at right about now reminds me of the statements he made, because they're very, very similar. He said it will reach a time when Arsenal can go in and sign 1 big signing, 2 big signings, but at the moment, what we needed was Arsenal, and that was last summer, and he said what we needed was Arsenal to sign many players to form the structure of the team. And I can't disagree. I really can't disagree with that. You remember when we went on that winning streak? I think it was around 10 games without 10 games unbeaten, a couple of draws at 1 or 2, but we were on a good run. One of the things I remember saying in the 6 Things We Learned episodes is Arsenal have finally found a structure. Arsenal have finally found an identity, a way to play, and something that you can identify them with. And that that kind of identity came from the structure. If you look at the players we signed, they're so similar. Ramsdale's ball playing abilities are similar to those of Nuno Tavares, are similar to those of Albert Sambilokonga, are similar to those of Martin Odegaard and are similar to those of Ben White. I'm not really saying they're at the same level and talented the same way. What I'm trying to say is that one of them is not a mechanic and the other is technical. Both of them are, all of them actually, all 6 signings that we made in the summer are really well gifted, talented players. I mean, if anyone has a debate about that, bring it on. I will smash you. Well gifted, talented players, 6 of them. Right, despite the fact that Nunes is struggling, despite the fact that many Arsenal fans feel Kroenke is not good enough, all of them are talented and all of them are similar. They show you that there is a way Arsenal wants to play, and if we continue in the same direction, there will reach a time when Arsenal play in that way. So Edu today comes back and it's confirms the same words. That gives me some kind of belief, not in the Kroenkes. They've done it in the last summer, and then they disappointed us in January. You can understand why I'm not very secure with the words and promises of the Kroenkes, because for me, what you do is you keep on backing a manager, right? Arteta is struggling now with Tottenham and United and all that because of that January transfer window. That's why he's struggling. If they had given him Kulusevski and probably Rodrigo Bentancur or probably Arthur Melo, it could have been different. He would have had the squad depth in place, and of course that elevation of quality to the squad. But let us not complain about January. Let's focus on this coming summer. What do we need, and is Arsenal going to do that? So Edward said that. I mean, we need to pick up very, very, very carefully the points that he's made. One, he said maybe next season we can't go for 1 or 2 big players. Now that is special, right? That line there is special. And why I think it is important and special, one is I've already said this, lads. Arsenal has left now that level of signing in mediocre players that have the potential to become world class, but then are nowhere near. With players like Gabriel Jesus, and I think Gabriel Jesus, Lucas Paqueta, all these are Edu signings. He's trying to show Mikel Arteta, in the dressing room. You see, if you had Lucas Paqueta there, then you have Gabriel Jesus there. He's trying to buy some. To make some publicity for the Brazilians and the Brazilian national team and the Brazilian talent. And I got no problems with Brazilians. I'm telling you, lads. I grew up loving Brazilians. I don't know how the hell I ended up supporting Spain and as a national team and Barcelona and everything. But I really loved Brazilians, because when we were growing up, you could see Kaká, you could see Ronaldinho. I mean, the talent they had, no one else had, right? No one else. For me, I've always thought Brazilians are the most talented guys in football. I mean, I could be wrong, but that is my opinion. I mean, you could give me yours in the comment box. Do you think Brazilians are the most talented in the world in terms of football, and talented and gifted? But here comes Edu. How many months later? December, 5 months later, to confirm the same words he spoke about on Sky in an interview. What are you going to do this season? He says, this season, 1 or 2 big players, right? So, I mean, it also depends now. I don't want Edu to say, we brought in a big player. We brought in Yves Bissouma. Of course, he's a big player. Right, he's a big player, and I would take him all day, right? But I think Aston Villa can go and sign Bissouma, can't they? Leicester can go and sign Bissouma. So I don't want to just come out and say, look, we brought in Bissouma. That's a big signing. Arsenal fans must be very, very grateful with us. Yeah, we are grateful, and I'm happy that we could go for Bissouma and probably get him, but we need something even bigger, right? Someone like maybe, right? Maybe a Darwin Nunes, maybe a Lautaro Martinez, maybe an Alexander Isak, maybe, right? Maybe, but that is that is Edu sticking with his words, and of course, that is according to the plan. One or two big players are coming in the summer. That is confirmed. Now let's move on to the next line, right? Let's move on to the next line, and okay. Now the next line says that on the next line it says our planning has already been done. It is already our planning has already been done. It has already reached the owners. It's a matter of step by step how we will end the season and put the plan into place. That or which I'm very excited about. So I mean, the truth is that you cannot be excited. He can look. He cannot say, "I'm very excited" if the Kroenkes had turned down the proposal, right? So that means the plan of the summer was endorsed by was endorsed and and accepted by the Kroenkes. Now you still remember in January, Mikel Arteta flew to the USA and met with Stan Kroenke. I think they also watched American football, some game that I really understand nothing about. Unless the only thing I know is that Stan Kroenke has a club in American football. I think that is the Rams, right? That's the only thing I think that's the only thing I know about American football, and I just don't understand it, right? I would rather watch basketball. Honestly, I would rather watch basketball because I think basketball is more understandable, although the goals are many. So Edu says he is excited about the project that is coming at Arsenal. The plan is already made, and the plan is going to be implemented step by step, depending on where we finish in this campaign. Brings you back to my words yesterday that where you finish in a league campaign is massively going to is massively going to impact where and which which kind of players you bring in the market, right? It's going to massively impact that, because look, if you get Champions League, all the talents in the world are looking at you. All agents will be willing to listen to you. If you do not get Champions League, no one wants to listen to you. No one, absolutely no one wants to listen to you. I mean, you'll be getting the by the way signings, right? You'll be getting the by the way signings. But if you do not, but if you avoid that mistake and fight hard and get to the Champions League, you will be getting the best signings in the world. Look at Cedric's performance yesterday. Cedric doesn't need to be at Arsenal. I'm telling you, lads. Cedric doesn't need to be at Arsenal, because for me, Cedric is not learning anything new. He's not learning anything new. Only he's one of those senior players that should be providing some kind of experience, pedigree, to unity, and just putting in those good performances like the likes of Dani Alves are doing for Barca. Alves is 38, 38, 36. When you look at the guy playing on the pitch, he's played before. He's played some good football before. So some of these guys just need to get out. I mean, bring in Saliba, get rid of Rob Holding. The fact that Saliba comes in, that upgrades our squad already, because Saliba is miles better than Rob Holding. Right, Rob Holding could stay at the club. I got no problems with him. He could play in the Europa League, FA Cup, and Carabao Cup. Look, he's a good guy for me. He's a good guy, signed by Arsene Wenger from Bolton. He's a good guy. He's an okay guy. I don't have a problem with him. He could just stay around, but bring those huge quality signings so that we get that upgrade, huge upgrade in our squad. So let's talk about Edu now as a technical director. I still remember after January, I did a video and I said sack Edu now. And why I said sack Edu now, if you still remember my reaction, I said, why do other teams like Spurs that are exactly in the same position as we are, Why are they signing players in January and we are folding our we are folding our hands as if it is offertory time in a church and we don't have coins in the pocket? Why are we doing that in January? Literally, we had 60 million, or probably 80 to spend on Dusan Blahovic. Can't you negotiate a loan deal? Can't you negotiate? What is your work? Can't you negotiate something like a free deal? A couple of players, Luka Jovic was available, and a couple of other players. Can't you do that? Zakaria was also there, and you wanted him, and we wanted him. All these players we wanted were available. Why didn't we get any? I was really pissed. But now it's time to move over and give him another chance, right? This summer is going to be so huge for Edu. Very, very huge. Actually, it's going to be massive in my case. It's going to be massive for Edu. Not only to help Arsenal improve their squad and our overall quality, but also to prove himself as a technical and sporting director that I'm good enough for this job, right? I'm good enough for this job. It's not going to be enough when he goes out there and gets Gabriel Jesus and tells us, "Oh, I brought in a Pep Guardiola signing." You see, that's not enough. That's not enough. That doesn't take us to. We cannot get to Bayern's level or Liverpool or City, in one transfer window. But we need to see that next season, this is a different Arsenal. Just like we saw that this season, we've been a very, very different Arsenal, competing for top 4. Yet last season, we were competing for top 8. That is the difference. So can he do that? Now, for the Kroenkes, to begin with, I'm not going to give them much of my time because they're not kids and they're not new kids on the block. We've seen what the spenders at Newcastle have done. They have saved their club relegation. Can you believe that? Can you believe Newcastle? Yesterday we looked at the table, didn't we? And they were 8th on the table. 8th on the table. That is remarkable. That is remarkable. I don't know if they have dropped today after a couple of games being played, but they have survived relegation, and now it is Everton going down. It is Norwich, Everton, and I think Watford going down, right? So that is what we want to see as Arsenal as well. Take us from 8th to top 4, and when you take us to top 4, it is not job well done. It is project well started, because this is a project that is just starting, and the fact that the Kroenkes have decided to go for cheap players, cheap young players that have a bright future, it gives it puts a lot of work on Edu and Mikel Arteta. I agree, but I mean that is what they are supposed to do. And now this is not where they need to feel comfortable. No, it's just started, right? So any credit the Kroenkes will get, it's not now, and it's not in this summer unless they bring in Kylian Mbappe. Unless they sign Mbappe. If they sign Mbappe, I'll be like, okay, the Kroenkes, I'll be like, Kroenke, thank you, sir. But this summer, whoever they bring in this summer, if his quality, that will be, a step forward. But then they need to do what Liverpool is doing. Go out in a crucial January transfer window and bring in Luis Diaz. Go out in a crucial summer and bring in Konate and Jota. Go out in a crucial summer and bring in Thiago. We need to see that from the Kroenkes. For us to be sure that they're behind the team, we need to see this repeated action, right? For it to become a habit, it must be repeated action. And spending, honestly, is not a habit at Arsenal. It's not a habit of the Kroenkes, right? So they're now saying, we want to make it a habit. Well done. Well said. Sorry. Not well done, but well said. But we want to see that happen. We want to see that put into action. So the Kroenkes, lads, for me, it's going to take 3 more windows. This window, the upcoming January transfer window, and then the next summer, for me to start believing that now they've found a connection with Arsenal. And honestly, lads, as Chelsea change managers, as Chelsea change owners, there is a possibility that they will have that slight decline. And we need to capitalize on that. We've never been smaller than Chelsea. We've never been smaller than Chelsea. 3 Premier League titles Arsenal have, and despite the fact that we've taken so long without winning a Premier League title, I mean, Chelsea do not have so many after all ahead of us. There are only 3 ahead of us. City as well, only 3. Liverpool, they have 1 Premier League title. We have 3. That shows you that this Arsenal side, it's not, it's not a small side. And all these trophies we're talking about, all these Champions League finals that we're talking about, happened before 2017, 2018, before the Kroenkes were here. So their reign at Arsenal is filled with FA Cups and nothing. They need to show us that even if they don't have that emotional attachment, because look, I could buy a business for the issue of for the sake of making profit, right? But to make profit, for example, if I buy a restaurant and I want to make huge profits from that restaurant, I'll make sure that I have better cooks. So I'll employ better cooks. I'll change the furniture. I'll make sure I have AC around, and I'll make sure that probably I can give you free drinks like water, right? Maybe water, free water. I mean, you need those incentives. You need to add something for you to make the money. And Kroenkes have been running the worst business model, at Arsenal. Don't give them anything, and make sure that you take away a lot of money from them. Come on, seriously, you didn't buy this club on debt like the Glazers. You didn't buy them. You didn't buy us on debt like Glazers. You bought the club, inject some money, take us to the UEFA Champions League. You know what's funny is that these owners, when we go to the Champions League, they make huge amounts of money. When we do not go, they lose huge amounts of money. And what I don't understand is, then why don't you want to give us the money if we make the money for you, when we perform well? When Arsenal perform well, our TV rights and our TV revenue increases. When Arsenal perform well, the prize money from the Premier League at the end of the season is huge. When Arsenal perform well, more fans will buy more Arsenal jerseys. When Arsenal perform well, UEFA will give us money for qualifying for Champions League, and at every stage we go to in those competitions, we get a lot of money. When Arsenal perform well, the sponsorships that you get from Emirates, from kit sponsors, are bigger. So it makes no sense when an owner doesn't inject, because if you inject 100 million, you're likely that you'll get 100 million times 10. Then inject the money. That is what the fans want. You just want to inject. So let's wait and see this summer. And Edu, now the ball is in the hands of Edu and Mikel Arteta. This is what I want to see, right? This is what I want to see. And I mean, let me know, lads. I think I'm going to use these 3 players as examples of quality, right? So I'm going to ask you, which level of players do you think Arsenal need to go to next? Do we need the highest level, like Haaland, or are we, or is it too early for us to be there? Do we need then the second level of players, which would be the likes of I think the highest level? I don't know if Haaland plays at the highest level, but I think personally, in my opinion, he plays at the highest level. Haaland, Mbappe, Rudiger, and the others. I think they're at the highest level. Then the second tier, the second level, would be, I don't know, the likes of Victor Osimhen, and the likes of Victor Osimhen, the likes of Gabriel Jesus. They're at that level. Or should we stick to the level that we are on? Because I think we are not at a low level. We're just at that mediocre level, right? Just bring on you bring in those players that are good, but have the potential to become good players, better players, and probably world class. So should we continue at that level where you just bring in players that will become world class in the future, develop them together, make sure they do things together and they pull in the same direction, right? And there's something that Lee Garner said, and I'm gonna quote him. He said, "The truth is that all these players cannot arrive at the same time. Yes, you have a project of young players, but all of them cannot arrive at the same time. You can see that Odegaard is blossoming, but Nuno is literally making every 10 mistakes per 90. You can see that Lokonga is quiet, but Ben White has already found himself strong in the team, but with Ramsdale. So all these players cannot develop at the same rate. That's why I think my opinion is right. I think what Arsenal now need to do is we need to go out there and make marquee signings. That is the next level. Probably not Erling Haaland, probably not Kylian Mbappe, but those players that are knocking on the door to become that. Because when Dortmund signed in Erling Haaland from, I don't remember the team. I don't remember the team from Norway. But which team was it? No, it was not Norway. Was it Red Bull? So it wasn't Red Bull Salzburg. I'm very sure it wasn't Red Bull Salzburg. Was it Red Bull Salzburg? It wasn't Red Bull Salzburg. Where did Erling Haaland come from? I don't remember though. But I still remember that. Did he play for Red Bull Salzburg? I mean, someone let me know in the comments. Someone let me know. Did Erling Haaland play for Red Bull Salzburg? I would love to, I would love to hear from you lads. I mean, I'm not sure. Did he play for Red Bull? Did he come from Red Bull? Because it's still, the players of recent, Red Bull has been bringing a lot of players, the likes of Dominic Szoboszlai, the likes of did he come from Red Bull? Because I remember Takumi Minamino, I remember Dominic Szoboszlai. Now we have Karima Adeyemi. I'm not really sure. Let me know. Let me know if Dortmund signed him from Red Bull Salzburg. But by the time they signed him, he was at that level of making that jump into world class. I think if Arsenal had signed in Dominic Szoboszlai, then by the time we wanted him, by now he would be one of the best players at Arsenal. So that is what I think. That is the quality, right? Because we cannot now afford to take any steps backward. That would look very, very awkward, right? It's like working so hard for 10 years and then you get that you get that setback of 5 years. It's ugly. And even if it's 1 year, if you get a setback for 1 year, it just looks ugly, it just looks not good. You just need to keep progressing. So the quality of these players, of these big players, will massively mean a lot. It will massively mean a lot. I don't want to see Edu trying to gamble with all this kind of Brazilian thing, signing in players from Brazil, these chiki chaka talents. No, I love Brazilian talent. For example, Lucas Paqueta. I think Paqueta is at the level. He's on the brink of becoming world class. On the brink of becoming world class. Anu says he's from Red Bull Salzburg. Okay, thank you so much. And Dennis as well. He says Haaland came from Red Bull Salzburg. I thought it was coming from. I thought they signed him from Norway. Yeah, but then I just remember. I'm just trying to remember him in that red jersey for Salzburg. So thank you so much. Yeah, he came from Salzburg. So I think that is that is kind of the model we need to do. We cannot at the moment we are not yet there to sign those already made players, but the players that are walking into the top tier can be attracted to Arsenal. Like Lucas Paqueta can go away from Lyon to Arsenal. That is there is no doubt there. We can get that. We can get that one. I think Osimhen as well. Today reports indicating that Osimhen is tempted by the offer from Arsenal. I think the other good ones there is Darwin Núñez, the likes of. I'm not really sure if Cody Gakpo is about to explode. I'm not really sure. Yes, he has very good numbers: 15 goals, 18 assists. Those are very, very good. But I'm not really sure he's about to explode. I would prefer he goes to a club like Dortmund first for 1 or 2 seasons, and then just like what Karim Adeyemi has done, go to Dortmund for 1 or 2 seasons. Just find, because with Dortmund, what you have is they're like a guarantee machine. They give you that kind of guarantee that you will become great. You will become world class, right? So, I mean, it's gonna be big summer, right, for Arsenal. Big summer. It's a summer where we need to just clear out the rest of the deadwood in the squad, and I think that is going to be massively, that's going to be massively important. We need to know which players do we keep, which players do we get rid of. For example, I would strongly say um, Rob Holding should make way for Saliba. That is one. Rob Holding should make way. Leno should make way for Matt Turner, who's going to come in as backup goalkeeper, so he should make way as well. Pablo Mari should make way. Torreira should make way. El Neni should make way. Lacazette and Nketiah are going to be making way. Xhaka should make way. Honestly, Xhaka should make way because why this summer is going to be interesting is that it's going to involve difficult decisions, right? Unlike the recent transfer windows where it's been it's been pretty clear Aubameyang not doing well and his discipline has fallen off a cliff. He should leave. Players like Ozil should leave. Players like Socrates should leave. David Luiz Williams should leave. Those ones were simple, obvious cases. But now Arsenal have to think about the strong positions, and I'm saying Xhaka should make way after having a very good season and a very good game against Manchester United and helped us win that game. And I'm saying he should make way because I'm thinking, how about an upgrade that is world class? Right? You need to have players. We need to have players. One thing that I always admire about Manchester United, despite the fact that they have had one of the worst seasons in the world, is I think if you take away this season, they would have 5 or 6 players that walk into the Arsenal squad, into the Arsenal lineup. I think I would take David De Gea. If it's not for ball playing ability, I would take him to start because he's a very, very good shot stopper. Rafa Varane walks into our team. Their fullbacks are absolute shit. Don't talk to me about them. Paul Pogba. Those are 3. I wouldn't take Odegaard over Bruno, despite the fact that Bruno has the numbers. I don't think he's that kind of number 10 that I love. I'm not in much. I respect him, but I'm not in love with this kind of playing style. But Jadon Sancho, I'll take him, and Ronaldo, right? So it's easy for Man United to bridge their gaps, like getting 2 midfielders, getting 1 winger and 2 fullbacks, and they stable the ship. Whereas for Arsenal, it has been very, very difficult for us. And to reach where we are right now, it's been how many years? It's been since 2018 when Arsene Wenger left us, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Those are 5 years. Then you have to remember that Arsenal had last been in a very serious title contest. It was way back in 2016 when Leicester City were winning it. So you have to add 2 more years. That's around 7 years Arsenal not competing at a big level. And by that time, the rebuild had already started, but we're doing it the wrong way. Because remember that is when the likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang came in. During the course, Pepe came in under Unai Emery and a couple of other players. But then we are not doing it right. So right now, we want to take the next step. What is the next step? It's becoming a Chelsea. It's becoming a Liverpool. It's becoming a Man City. I don't see any other step that we are taking now. That is it, right? And I told you, lads, this is the easiest season for any team, whether you're Leicester, whether you are, to get into the top 4. This is the easiest, by far, the easiest season. The moment this season runs out on you, the moment you can't capitalize on this season, forget it. Top 4, forget it, right? Forget it. Because next season, when Newcastle sack Eddie Howe and bring in a proper manager who needs to take them to the next level, and they give him the backing, they will try to fight for the top four. Villa will try to fight for the top four. I don't think Wolves will. But I think West Ham will be back. Maybe not to put that pressure because they don't have the squad depth. So I think their players are going to suffer from burnout, especially from the Europa League and the Premier League. But all in all, overall, Arsenal and all the other clubs around, it's going to be tougher next season. Those two spots, Chelsea, Arsenal, United, Spurs, West Ham, Newcastle, and the others, those two spots, third and fourth, are going to be, they're going to be gold. I don't know if gold is more valuable than diamond, but I love gold. So I think those two positions starting, and not only next season, but starting from next season, they're going to be valuable, massively, massively valuable. And to win them, you need to start now. The top two positions on the league have created themselves by default because City started their rebuild 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And I think in the last 15 years, City have won 6 Premier League titles. Liverpool started theirs around 6 years ago. And in that run, they have a title. They've been runners up. They're runners up. They will be runners up this season if they don't win it. And they have a Champions League, right? So they've just created the kind of default top two, and it has massively created. It has ultimately, not massively, but ultimately created that default top four, right? Like the two in the Premier League, the two from the Premier League who come third and fourth, it's a hot contest. But then Chelsea have made sure that they secure that place by making sure that their quality tries to resemble, but probably not equal, but resemble Spurs, Cities and Liverpool's. So that is what Arsenal need to do. Let's resemble them. Let's make the huge signings. Should we be excited as Arsenal fans? I'm going to say not yet. Not yet. We do not know what these men mean with big players, right? But that is the plan. That is the strategy, and I'm 100% in agreement with the plan. I'm 100% in agreement with the strategy, right? Like, because at some point in time, we will have to see when Xhaka has gone, when other players have gone, the likes of Rob Holding, we will have to see Arsenal replace some of their own best, right? Like, I mean, if we settle well, you never know. We could see a better a better left back than Kieran Tierney. Actually, this summer, according to I think it was City Extra who interviewed George Nicola, and he said that Arsenal are looking at Valentino Livramento. Valentino Livramento is not an upgrade to Kieran Tierney, but I think if he's given the time Tierney has taken at Arsenal, he would beat Kieran Tierney, because one of the reasons is that Tino can play 30 games per campaign, 35 games per campaign, right? And with Mikel Arteta trying to exploit, trying to make sure that his attack is built from the left, right, to the right, it shows that you need someone who's more reliable than Kieran Tierney and more reliable than Nuno Tavares. Tierney is good. You can trust him as a manager, but then he's not reliable. Nuno could be reliable, could play for you 35 games, but then you cannot trust him, right? And I think I was watching Rio Ferdinand's channel, and it was Stephen Howson who was doing the it's not a preview. Why do I keep on calling them previews? It's kind of scout reports, right? and they were talking about the likes of Jude Bellingham and Ryan Gravenberch. But one of the things I picked out in that in that video is that, yeah, all players need to be trusted by the manager. Your manager has to be able to trust you. You must create that kind of you know feeling with the manager that he can't trust you, especially off the ball. I think Nuno doesn't have that. So if at any time Arsenal bring in Tino Livramento, at any time Arsenal go and bring in Rafinha, if at any time Arsenal go and bring in a better goalkeeper than Ramsdale, it helps us. That is what we need. But I'm going to look at your reaction as well. We need to see what you're saying in the chat. Cossy Saliba, we need Saliba back, Stuart. All right, thank you so much, Stuart. I mean, who can disagree with that? Who can disagree with that, lads? Thank you so much. Yesterday you helped me reach 160 likes on the 10 p.m. show. Let's continue that. Let's make sure we hit the like button. At least by the end of the video, let's make sure we are in 100. Make sure you hit the like button if you've not yet done that. So look, with Saliba, it's a no-brainer, lads. It's a no-brainer. I mean, no one would say Arsenal don't need Saliba back. Update about Thomas Partey, please. Now, Thomas Partey is back in the gym. Is back working out. Right? He's back in the gym. He's working out, but there is nothing. There is nothing at the moment that I can say or I can confirm on his particular return date. We don't have the specifics, right? We don't have the specifics, but I really can't confirm with you that the injured. He's working out. I've seen him in the gym. I've seen him work out. I've seen reports that he could come back as early as we do not expect, but they cannot. They really cannot give us a particular date. And the fact that Arsenal played Man United and Chelsea without him, it shows you that Mikel Arteta doesn't want to rush him. He wants him to get his time to heal. And what a player he's been for us, really. But at the moment, I cannot give you any particulars. I don't like Victor Osimhen, Cossy. Better Arsenal look for Nunes is far better than Victor Osimhen. The one thing I don't like about Victor Osimhen is that weird mask that he puts on. I mean, it just makes me sick. It just makes me sick. But look, I got no problems with Victor Osimhen. Let me tell you, when Victor Osimhen was making that jump from is it a jump from League One to the Italian Serie A to Napoli? It was a jump if you compare the club where he was and the club where he went. It was a jump, right? Ever since he made that jump, we have always waited and expected that he blossoms. The likes of Vlahovic have done it. The likes of other players have blossomed. The likes of Barella, the likes of Lukaku has gone there and blossomed in the Italian Serie A. Tammy Abraham is doing it. He's failed to do it. So he's still very young. So I don't want to say, no. He's still very young. So let him do his thing. I don't think he's a bad player, but he has the world-class potential. He should not joke with it. There are not so many players that are scouted as world-class potentials, and for me, he's a world-class potential. Haaland from Molde to Salzburg and Dortmund. Thank you so much, bro. That was great help. Yes, he came from Borussia Dortmund. Some of you are really behind. Carlos Sola has remained with one season on his contract and is a fantastic midfielder. Why don't Edu get him on a chip? Look, with the Arsenal signings, I'm going to say this: with the Arsenal signings, you have a couple of things. You have a couple of factors, at play, right? You have a couple of factors at play with Arsenal, transfers. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Yeah, right. So I was saying, with Arsenal signings, you have, and I think with most clubs now in modern football, you have um you have a couple of factors, playing, right, playing the game. You have you have the manager, the style, and the identity that he wants to implement, right? And then you have obviously the money. Like Arsenal would love to go for Ryan Gravenberch and Jude Bellingham, because that is the kind of football that Mikel Arteta plays, and he would love to manage such players. But honestly, the money. So you have the budget, but you also have the style of play. I don't think Arsenal would go and sign Makelele right now. Back in the days under Jose Mourinho, he was one of the best defensive midfielders the world has had ever seen. Right, but right now we cannot go for Makelele. Like, we just can't. Literally, we can't. So I think there's so many factors that have to interplay. Yes, he came from Borussia Dortmund. Right. Do you fancy Paul Pogba in Arsenal midfield? He would leave Manchester United at the end of the season. That guy is the machine. Just thinking, bro. 100, 1,000, 1 million, 10 million times percent, I'll take Paul Pogba. Now, let me tell you this, lads. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang left Arsenal in January on a free, and he was a disaster, right? But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has almost scored the same number of goals as Arsenal in the Premier League, this year. You understand? You understand what I'm talking about? At times, these players need to change environment. At times, these players just need to feel that they need to feel that the environment in which they're the heroes. That they just need a refreshment. And when you look at Paul Pogba's words and scenario, I don't think the problem is the player alone, though he is. There's so many problems, of course. You have Mino Raiola, who is a huge problem, but then you have the injuries that he just keeps on picking up at Manchester United. I don't know why. But then you have also the fact that he's not happy at Manchester United. He's always said it time and again that I've wasted my time at Manchester United. Right? But I'll take him at Arsenal 110%. A very, very good box to box midfielder, one of the best passers of the ball, and one of the best deep lying creative midfielders. He can. At the beginning of the season, they were playing Leeds one day, Manchester United. Remind me, I think they were. He created 4 assists in one game. 4 assists in one game. Actually, he's one of the top assist makers at Manchester United this season, with around 7 or 9. It's either 7 or 9, right? Despite the fact that he doesn't play that much. Of course, United have been really, really, really poor. But Paul Pogba, lads, the class of Paul Pogba, the beauty of Paul Pogba, what Pogba needs is just get N'Golo Conte. Just look at how he plays at France. It just brings out the picture of what Paul Pogba is. Because he's a player who wants to be on the ball 24/7. He's not afraid of receiving it, and he's never afraid of passing it, right? So his ball distribution is okay. His brain is okay. He's okay. He's absolutely okay. Massive upgrade to Arsenal midfield. It would be massive upgrade to midfield. Look, for me, the way I see things is very different from how some people see things. I would love Pogba, and I would sign Romelu Lukaku as well. I would sign Romelu Lukaku as well. Because for me, I've seen play at Belgium, and I'm like, okay, what's the problem? What's the real problem with Romelu Lukaku at United and at Chelsea? Why did he go to Inter and work out? Why did he go to? Why does he score the goals at Belgium? At times we do blame the players alone, but because just like Harry Maguire has been very, very poor. But then he's having one of the worst seasons. Yet he had one of the best Euro campaigns. Make it make sense. Yeah, make it make sense. But I'll take Pogba. I don't know how many people would agree with me, but I'll take Pogba. For me, 100% AK says we need to bring Tillemans, Nkunku, and Neves, Nunes. Sorry. Arsenal also need two good world-class midfielders. Two good world-class midfielders. Edu must have had that. Two good world-class midfielders. I learned that Arsenal is planning to buy Tammy Abraham. My take is that he's not good for Arsenal. All we need is an awesome and amazing all-round goal scorer or striker. Okay. Tammy Abraham is, it would be too harsh for us to say he's not good enough. That is too harsh. I mean, considering the fact that we just need to give that some kind that protection to the young talents. I mean, it's for matters of humanity. I don't know where it comes from, but it is for purposes of humanity that we give protection to the young players. But my opinion, though, lads, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but my opinion about Tammy Abraham is he made the right move. He made the right move. Go to the Serie A. We've seen a couple of strikers in the recent years come from the Italian Serie A, and they blossom. We've seen Vlahovic come from there, and he's really done well. You have the likes of Scamacca as well at the moment, doing well. You had the likes of I think he's called is he called Belotti? Is it called Belotti? Yeah, it's called Belotti as well. Silo Immobile. I mean, just go there and try to develop his your career. If he came in at Arsenal, the level of pressure he would be playing on under or at would have even made him worse. So he made the right move. He scored the goals. His hold-up play is probably not the best. I need to watch more of him, at Roma. But I don't think he's a bad player, right? I don't think he's a bad player. But for the money that Roma would ask for, because Roma signed him for around 35, I think, 35 or 40, around there. And he's improved, right? And for me, it's an improvement that wouldn't say, okay, he's improved a lot, he's become world class. They would ask for around 60 to 70 million. Spend that money better, right? So I would never take him because there are better options, but not because he's not good enough. I think he still has the potential to prove that he's a good player. Okay, more of your comments here in the chat. Bro, for me, I can satisfy if Arsenal bring back Saliba and buy Neves and another goalkeeper, because Ramsdale has a very overconfidence. I don't know what you mean here. But Matt Turner, I won't react to what I've not understood, but I'm going to inform you that Matt Turner will be coming in as backup goalkeeper, as a goalkeeper signing. We don't know if he's coming in as a backup goalkeeper, but he's coming from the Major League Soccer. That deal is done. So Matt Turner will be coming in for Arsenal in the summer. Probably the other thing you're talking about, Saliba. Saliba should also be coming back. Yeah, for that one, we as Arsenal fans, we will all agree on that. Right? I need to start. I've just picked a couple of them here. Okay. Okay. This is it. Causes, mind you, that Suarez was a reject player before Arsenal took him. So I shouldn't blame him for faltering in Arsenal, in an Arsenal shot. Wow. Nambi says, but Cossy, we need another midfielder to help Thomas Partey. I think, look, the reports that I've looked at, Chris Whitley and Football.London, there is a confirmation. There is that kind of confirmation that Arsenal will sign in a midfielder and two strikers. That is what I can confirm. And probably someone that to help out at left back, or probably and a right back. I think Xhaka's time at Arsenal has been one of mixed reactions. At the moment, he's happy with the club. We don't know if he's gonna leave, but most cases, the reports around indicate that he might leave. Roma want him. Jose Mourinho still really values him as a player. So let's say, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's gonna come out of there. Cossy, bro, I'm crying out for Nkunku and Darwin Nunez. They are exactly what we need. I think, both of them are great talents. Both of them are really, really great talents. Christopher Nkunku, the numbers Christopher Nkunku has, unbelievable. Unbelievable. What a season he has had as a player. And I think he's a Premier League player. I look at him as, he's a Premier League player. He's got that ability to be press resistant. The speed is okay. His skill is fine. He doesn't overdo things. He doesn't overthink moves. His finishing is top class. He won't sign for Liverpool. I'm sure of that, unless Salah leaves. United are the club that are interested. Yeah, United are the club that are interested, but I would take him also. I would also take Nkunku all day long, because this season he's already involved himself in around 35 goals in all competition for RB Leipzig. And I love statistics these days. I really love statistics, because modern football is all about statistics and numbers and what you see. So Christopher Nkunku, good one, a very, very good one. I can't disagree. And it's the same with Darwin Nunez. 33 goal involvements. He scored 33, not goal involvements actually, but 33 goals scored. That is mad for a player. That is absolutely mad. Please help me reach 100 likes on the video. Make sure you hit the like button. Massively helps the channel. Very, very well. We have tried from this we're tired of these transfer gossips, which never come true. Arsenal fans really. Is that a line that you've mastered and you type it whenever you see you feel like? Because look, last summer Arsenal was linked with so many players, and we signed 6. And all the 6 players we signed, there was a lot of speculation around them. But then we signed them. And then you say, we don't sign players. Like, the speculation never comes true. What exactly is the meaning of that statement? I need to be educated. Really, I need to be educated. Because this is no longer the Arsene Wenger era where we were linked with Rooney, Benzema. I understand the kind of frustration that you have, but every club is linked with players. Look at today, Liverpool has been linked with Jude Bellingham yet again, and Christopher Nkunku. Man United is being linked with a million players at the moment. So that's it. That's it. That's the transfer market. That's the transfer market. Just stop choking us with that Abraham issue. Who is he? This is according to Albert. Okay, I think honestly, we need to agree. Tammy Abraham would be a good addition to any Premier League team, but probably next season. Next summer. Leave alone this upcoming summer, but come the next summer, I think it would be a massive, massive signing. And we are going to leave it at that today. Thanks everybody for joining me today and hitting the like button if you've done that. If you've not done that, let's use the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds to smash a little like on the video. Tomorrow we are back at the same time, 10 p.m. 10 p.m. Of course, the other shows on a day as they run on a daily basis on Cossy's Arsenal podcast will be coming up. Tomorrow, I'll be producing my top 5 performers at the club this season. Top 5. It is a harsh video because if you look at this team, they've really performed together collectively. But there are those outstanding performers. So 5 of my best performers are coming out, and I will also be ranking our forward targets, our striker targets. I'll be ranking them tomorrow. So make sure you join in. Have you seen Barkamp and Henry motivating ESR and Saka at the Emirates that brought tears to my eyes? Yeah, I've seen it. Look, is there anything that happens around Arsenal that Arsenal do not publicize? There is nothing. There is absolutely nothing. Have a good night. Speak to you in a bit.